Hello sir, this is our project title Comparative Analysis of Google Translator and AI4Bharat Translator with a tagline A Translation Technology Study. This project goes under the guidance of Dr. Animesh Chaturvedi. He is a well-known researcher and faculty of IIIT Dharwad. And this is our team Srinivas Sai 21BDS012, Abhiram 21BDS029 and myself Vinay Kumar 21BDS056. So, let's dive into this presentation. This is an overview of Google Translator and AI4Bharat Translator. First, let's talk about this Google Translator and A4 Bharat Translator from a different perspective. Google Translate is a powerful tool that supports over 100 languages, making it a global translation leader. It excels in enabling communication on a worldwide scale. On the other hand, A4 Bharat Translator focuses on India's linguistic diversity, prioritizing the 22 scheduled languages and their unique challenges. It aims to cater specifically to India's linguistic landscape, including low resource languages. We have shared the links for both Google Translator and A4 Bharat Translator. So this is the problem statement of our project. Now let's address the problem at hand. Translation is important in today's globalized society for a variety of reasons, including communication, cultural understanding, and knowledge sharing. It helps us to break down the borders and build a more interconnected world. Google Translate has played a significant part in our world, changing the history of translation and communication. But Google Translator, which has issues such as lack of accuracy, static translation, limited contextual understanding, etc. Moving on to the motivation. So while tackling this problem statement, the decision to opt for AI4 Bharat Translator instead of Google Translator is influenced by two key factors. Google Translator's shortcomings with low resource languages and the necessity for precise translation in Indian languages. AI4 Bharat Translator provides a better and more efficient approach to cross-lingual communication, particularly focusing on the difficulties encountered in translating low resource languages.
Myself Abhiram 21BDS029. So let's know about training method of Google Translator. Google Translate relies on NMT, which stands for Neural Machine Translation. NMT utilizes artificial neural networks that have been trained on extensive bilingual text data. Through this training, these networks acquire an understanding of the connections between words and phrases in different languages. Consequently, they are capable of producing translations that are not only more authentic but also more precise compared to conventional approaches. Now we'll talk about SMT, that is statistical machine translation. Although NMT is currently the prevailing method, SMT continues to have significance within Google Translate. SMT relies on statistical analysis of extensive parallel text data to recognize patterns and perform translations accordingly. Differences between NMT and SMT. Mechanism in NMT is to translate sentence by sentence, but in SMT, translation goes by word. NMT utilizes deep learning models like recurrent neural networks or transformer for attentional decoder-encoder networks. SMT relies on statistical models based on linguistic and probabilistic principles. Commonly uses phrase-based or word-based models. NMT excels in handling multilingual translation and adapting to diverse domains through shared parameters and contextual learning. SMT may face challenges in managing multiple languages and domains, often requiring separate models and significant retraining. NMT models tend to handle rare words better and capturing meanings effectively, whereas SMT may struggle with rare words and facing challenges in translating accurately. These are some records of Hindi and English columns from the dataset. Using the Google Translator on the Hindi column, we got this result as English trans column. So these are the records. So next we'll talk about the training methods of AI for Bharat Translator, which is transform-based multilingual NMT. This model uses powerful transformer architecture specifically tailored for Indic languages. It allows parallelized processing and attention mechanisms, leading to faster training and better performance. This is transformer architecture upon which AI for Bharat relies on. Multilingual training. The model was trained using a vast dataset of parallel text from all 22 scheduled Indic languages and English. This allows it to learn the relationships between languages and produce reliable translations. Now about script unification. IndicTrans2 uses script integration whenever possible to improve the use of words commonly used across languages. This requires turning languages with unique scripts such as Kashmiri, Manipuri, and Sindhi into common scripts such as Devanagari prior to translation and then converting back them after translation. These are some of the records of Hindi and English columns from the dataset. Using AI4Bharat translator on Hindi column, we got this result as the column AI4Bharat trans. So these are the records.
Hello, I am Srinivas with roll number 21BDS012. Let's delve into the architectures of Google Translator and AI4Bharat Translator. Starting with Google Translator architecture, it commonly employs translation models like NMT and SMT. These models consist of an encoder and a decoder. The encoder condenses information from the original text, while the decoder uses this condensed data to generate the translated text. Additionally, Google Translator utilizes the attention mechanism and a pivotal element in NMT to enhance translation quality. This mechanism allows the decoder to focus more on specific parts of the original text, leading to more accurate and fluent translations. Next, let's discuss the multi-layer perceptron (MLP), a shared component in both NMT and SMT architectures. The MLP is responsible for processing the condensed information from the encoded text to generate the final translated output. Many are acquainted with the term LSTM, representing long short-term memory networks. In NMT, LSTM networks, a subset of recurrent neural networks (RNNs), are utilized to grasp longer connections and dependencies within the source language text. This is vital for accurately translating intricate sentences, enabling the model to capture nonsense meanings and context during the translation procedure. Now let's delve into the components of NMT, specifically the encoders and decoders. In the encoders, we find the embeddings layer and RNN cells. Conversely, in the decoder, the arrangement is reversed, with RNN cells appearing first, followed by the embedding layer. This delineates the core architecture of Google Translator. Let's shift to focus to Indic Trans 2, also known as AI4Bharat model, and its architecture, which follows a similar encoder-decoder structure as Google Translator. In Indic Trans 2, the encoder condenses the original text, while the decoder utilizes this condensed information to generate the translated text. Moving on to the multi-head detection mechanism, it enables the decoder to focus on various aspects of the original text simultaneously, enhancing context awareness during translation. Additionally, positional encoding is performed to help the model understand the word order in sentences, which is especially beneficial for accurately translating languages with integrated syntax such as Hindi and Urdu. Let's discuss the comparison metrics, specifically the STS score and the BLUE score. STS score, semantic textual similarity, and the BLUE score, which is bilingual evaluation under study. STS measures the semantic similarity between two sentences by converting them into numerical representation and calculating the distance between those representations. Blue score accesses translation quality by comparing machine generated translations to reference translations, focusing on the precision of n-grams. Both metrics provide score normalized between 0 and 1, where higher scores indicate greater semantic similarity or better translation quality. They are essential for evaluating and refining machine translation systems like Google Translator and AI4Bharat Translator. So this, which I explained previously, which means 0, 0.5 and 1. This is the score interpretation. 0 means no similarity at all, moderate level means 0.5, and if it is 1, then it is a perfect similarity. And this is the cosine similarity which is used for calculating the STS score. After analyzing the results, comparing the original English sentences with their translations by Google Translator and AI4Bharat Translator, we calculate the STS score and BLUE score for the both translations. The STS score column represents the STS scores of Google Translator translations, while the score for AI4Bharat column represents the STS score for AI4Bharat translators. Upon reviewing the data, we consistently observed higher STS score and BLUE score for both AI4Bharat translator across multiple records. This indicates a better level of semantic similarity between the original English sentence and their translations by AI4Bharat translator compared to the Google Translator. Based on these findings from various datasets, we can confidently conclude that AI4Bharat translator outperforms Google Translator in terms of semantic similarity and translation quality. Thank you for your attention to this analysis. Now let's dive into the Google Colab to see different codes of Google Translator and AI4Bharat Translator and the comparison metrics for the STS scores and the BLUE scores for both the translators. Now let's get into the Google Translator code. Here we have downloaded the package called Google Trans, which contains a translator function which is used for translating any language to any language. So here we are translating the languages from Hindi to English. So we have written a function called translate text, and we have kept source languages Hindi and destination languages in English. So here we have imported our Excel sheet, and we have given the start index and end index of the records. Here we are using a sample data for showing how the translation is going to be done. So after the translation is done, it is saved into a Excel sheet with called as data with Google Trans. Here we have sample with 30 samples only to show how the translation is done simply. So when the translation is done, the English trans column appears of the translation of the Hindi into English by the Google Translator. So now let's get into AI4 Bharat Translator. This has many packages to be downloaded like Indic NLP libraries, Indic NLP resources and etc. from the GitHub. So then we need to install the main package called as FairSEQ, which contains many more functions to be worked on. So one few of them are checkpoint utils, distributed utils, options, tasks and utils and etc. So then we need to download the main package indic2en, which is used for translating Indic languages to English languages. We have other source languages also like English to Indic languages and Indic to Indic languages. But we are translating Hindi to English, so we use only this package. Then we import the model for translating. Then we save the model and write the function and keep the source language as Hindi and the destination language as English. So then we'll import the Excel sheet and then pass to the function and then translate those 30 records for a sample. So when the 30 records have been completed translation, we get a new column called as AI4 English, which where Hindi language is translated to English by AI4 Bharat translator. So similarly by Google Translator, we will save the Excel sheet into the system. So after the translation is done, now we'll go on to the STS score. So STS score, we have done some pre-processing steps for the each sentence and then compared their matrices. So after comparing the matrices of STS score of Google Trans text, we will got the overall score of 0.46291 for only 30 records. So then we will compare with the AI4 Bharat translator. So AI4 Bharat translator is the simple code. We will pass the AI4 English column to the comparison with the Google Translator, and then we'll get the overall score of 0.674766 for the AI4 Bharat translator. Now comparing both AI4 Bharat translator column and the Google Translator column of STS score. Here for the 30 records, 16 records are better for AI4 Bharat and 6 records are better for Google Translator, where 8 records are came for both are equal and we'll exclude those. Similarly, the blue score code where the some pre-processing steps has been done, and we'll calculate the blue score for Google Translator first, and then we'll get a overall blue score of 0, which means no better translation until 30 records for the Google Translator. Similarly, we will do translation blue score calculation for AI4 Bharat and then get the overall score. Here we got overall score of 0.16666 for Google AI4 Bharat Translator. Similarly, for comparing both, here, nearly 27 records out of 30 records are better for AI4 Bharat Translator, 0 records are better for Google Translator, where we are excluding 3 records which are equal. So by this conclusion, we can say that AI4 Bharat Translator is much better translator for Indic languages compared to the Google Translator. So thank you for listening to us.